Okay, picking up where we left off. We left off with finding the approximate answer for the circumference, but it also asks us to round answers to the nearest whole number. So 12.56 is approximately 13. So our final answer here will be 13 centimeters, or approximately 13 centimeters. Now we want to do the area. The area is equal to pi times the radius squared. Now, we must first do an exact answer. The radius is actually 2 centimeters. So it's pi times 2 centimeters squared. So your area is equal to, it'll be 4 pi centimeters squared. This would be your exact answers. 4 pi centimeters squared. Now we need to do the approximation. So we would have the area is equal to 4 times 3.14 centimeters squared. Now we already found out that 4 times 3.14 is approximately 12.56, and that's centimeters squared. Now we still want to round this to the nearest whole number, which would be 13 centimeters squared. So that would be your area. Now, we scroll down here to example 6. It says, which one of the following is the better buy? A large pizza with a 14-inch diameter for $12, or a medium pizza with a 7-inch diameter for $5. So what we would do is this here. We would put area is equal to pi radius squared. Now remember, this is the large pizza, so I'll write large here. This is the large pizza. So the area is equal to, we can make pi 3.14, and then the radius is half of this 14 inches, which is 7 inches, and that's squared. So we have the area is equal to 3.14. 7 squared is 49, and the inches would be inches squared. So we'll take 3.14 times 49 inches squared. So your area would be approximately 153.86 square inches. Now, what we have to do to determine how much it costs per slice, to see if we're really getting our value for our money, we would take the cost, which is $12, and we would divide it by the area, which is 153.86 square inches. Now, when you divide this out, we're going to do an approximation, and you would end up with approximately 8 cents per slice, or 8 cents per square inch. So that would take care of the large pizza. Now we want to look at the medium pizza. Now the medium, we still will use area, which is pi radius squared, and the area, the pi is still 3.14 as the approximation, and the radius is half of 7, which will give us 7/2 inches, and that's squared. So our area will be 3.14. 7/2 squared is 49 over 4, and it's square inches. Now, when we multiply this here, we have the area is equal to, this will end up being approximately 38.465 square inches. Now, to find out the price of this pizza per square inch, we would take $5 divided by 38.465 square inches. Now, this would give us approximately 13 cents per square inch. Now, we look here. Now, if you're a consumer, remember the one that has the lowest price is the one you want to buy. So what we will have to write here, and I want to give us enough space. So I'm going to push this down a little bit here. And so what we will write here is the large pizza is the better buy. And that is the final answer. Now we come down here to objective 3. Solve problems using formulas for surface area and volume. Surface area and volume of a rectangular solid box. For the following rectangular solid, label the length L, width W, and height H. So let's take a look here. Now I think what we could do is we could take a look at this figure here, and we know that this side here is considered to be the length. Now this side here, this is how wide it is. And up here, or we could write it right here, going from the top to the bottom here is its height. So it's length times width times height. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, all of these are supposed to be capital letters. So I need to make this H a capital H. As a matter of fact, let me just take this off. And we could just make this a capital H. Because it's very important that we keep the letter casings of the variables the same. So, this will give us a capital H. And this is our height, this is our length, and this is our width. It says, what is the formula for the volume of a box? The volume is equal to length times width times height. It says, what is the formula for the surface area of the box? Now, the surface area is equal to, you will have 2 LW plus 2 LH plus 2 WH. Now this is 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. Now this is how the formula is typically written. But since we're using capital letters, I need to rewrite this using the capital letters. And so this will be the way how you would write the formula for this particular problem. But in general, typically they use the lowercase letters. So now, let's take a look here at example 7. It says, find the surface area and volume and the volume of the box below. Okay, now, what we have here is this here. We need to, I need to push this down a little bit. We have here our height, our length, and our width. So now, we're asked to find the surface area and the volume of the box. Now personally, I will find the volume first because the volume is a little easier to find. You have length times width times height. So the volume is equal to, okay, first of all, this would be our height, this would be our length, and this would be our width. So we can substitute this in. The length is 7 inches, the width is 2 inches, and the height is 4 inches. So we have volume is equal to, this would be 14 square inches times 4 inches. And your volume would be 56 cubic inches. That is your volume. Now we want to do the surface area. Surface area, again recall, is 2 times the length times the width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the width times the height. Now we have the surface area is equal to 2 times the length is 7 and the width is 2 plus 2 times the length is 7 and the height is 4. Now I ran out of space here, so I'm going to put plus. It'll be 2 times the width is 2 and the height is 4. Now when we multiply this out, we have surface area is equal to 2 times 7 is 14 times 2 is 28 plus 2 times 7 is 14 times 4 is 56 plus 2 times 2 is 4 times 4 is 16. So our surface area is equal to, now all of these are square units, because remember, whenever we're dealing with area, whenever we multiply, we end up with the square units. So we have 28 and 56, which is 84 square inches, plus the 16 square inches, which is 100 square inches. So your answer here is 100 square inches. Now, it says a box is the simplest case of a prism. A prism is an object that has two identical parallel ends that are polygons. For example, the object that we have been calling a box is actually a rectangular prism, since the ends and all cross sections would be rectangles. It says the shape below is a hexagonal prism, since the ends and all cross sections would be hexagons. Can you name the prism below? This is a triangular prism because all the cross sections and all the ends will end up leaving you triangle, some form of a triangle. Okay, the volume of a prism is simply the area of one end times the length of the prism. Think of the volume of a box. V equals length times width times height. The length times the width gives you the area of the end. And when you multiply by the height, you are really multiplying by the total length of the prism. So the formula is really just a special case of the volume of a prism. It says formula for the volume of a prism. Now, we want the volume of this particular prism. Let me scroll this back up here. Okay, matter of fact, I'm going to scroll down here. And this is basically the same shape as what we had on the previous page. So the volume is 1/2 times the base, the height, times the length. So that is the volume of a triangular prism. So now we could take this formula and apply it here to A. It says find the volume of the following prisms. So we have the volume is equal to 1/2 times base times height times the length. So the volume is equal to 1/2. The base is 3.5 meters. The height is 4 meters. And the length is 6 meters. Okay, so now we have the volume is equal to, now what we could do is remember our commutative property of multiplication. We could take this 1/2 times 4. Half of 4 is 2. So it'll be 3.5 meters times 2 meters times 6 meters. So we have the volume is equal to 3.5 times 2 is 7. So that would be 7 square meters times 6 meters. The volume is equal to 7 times 6, which is 42, and meters squared times meters is meters to the third power, or cubic meters. Now remember, volume is always measured in cubic units. So this would be 42 cubic meters, and that is your final answer.